Did ICE murder a protester? Welcome aboard. Well, Jeremy. Okay, let's start
Sorry,
over.
I'm a little speechless with that. I was like, no,
No, not at all. Well, we're going to look at the evidence because really our opinions must be based on facts and evidence and not our emotions.
And normally I come into these blind, absolutely blind, but because of familial situation, I have been watching a lot of news and things like that because that's what happens in the house I'm in right now. And I have watched so many videos of this.
And this is the big story right now.
Commentary of this, so many experts of this. And I'm not going to say I'm an expert by any means, but I think I've watched every angle that they've possibly shown. And yeah, I have some opinions about it.
Well, let's take a look at the new video that's come out. Now, I've heard a handful of people say it's a body cam. Most people are saying it's cell phone.
Officers will take their cell phones, leave the camera rolling on their cell phone, and they tuck it in their bulletproof vest. Well, and the camera part just sticks out.
Well, that would make sense because to me it looked like it was stationary. Like when you're holding with your hand, you're bobbing up and down with your hand.
If you look at these,
it looked like it was solid.
Yeah, if you look at these officers, more often than not, you'll see they have their cell phone. It looks like they're just kind of tucked, just kind of sitting on there. No, it's actually got the camera's set just right. They've just got it sitting there so that it's recording.
All right, so let's take a look. This is the body cam footage or the cell phone footage of the actual officer that got hit by these people. So here we go. Let's play it. This is a graphic warning. We're not blurring anything out. This is a graphic warning. So if you're sensitive, you don't want to watch this.
Okay.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad. It's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Get out of the car. Out of the car.
All right, so now that we've seen this, why don't we go ahead and break this whole video down? Because I've got a lot of things I want to say about this. Hey, and if you like what we're doing, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We are getting closer and closer to 100 subscribers. It really does help. It really helps with the algorithm, and you get to be notified when you get more teachers and train stations. So everybody, we'd love to have you join.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. And you know how to stop it right there? Or you've got your mouse. You ready?
Yep. Where am I? Oh, there we go. Okay. See it.
Yep. It's right here.
Fine. There we go. All right. I'll let you play.
I'm not mad at you.
Now, notice she has an attitude right off the bat. And yeah, you're allowed to have an attitude. First Amendment, you're allowed to have an attitude. Officers, you can cuss them out all you want.
But at this point, they've been blocking the road for multiple minutes at an active place where they are serving a warrant. And there's one thing I want to complain about here, and nobody seems to talk about it. Everything is action or reaction. Those are the only two options you have in this kind of scenario. So the action was them serving a warrant. The reaction was these people who apparently chase ICE around and harass them. And these two in this car specifically have been guilty of it for multiple days up to this point.
And here's the other thing. This is, as we were talking about earlier, interference with the duties of a law enforcement officer.
Federal law enforcement officer.
Federal. So this is at a federal level.
Now,
at this point, technically, they can be arrested for interference.
And remember, Minnesota will not send police officers. There are no state, there are no county, and there are no city officials at this point. So there is absolutely nobody other than federal law enforcement in this process at this time.
And to be fair, to be fair to Governor Tim Walz, he is very busy allowing a lot of fraud to go on with daycare centers, but that's a completely different story.
But I want to go back to the reaction action thing.
Okay, go ahead.
So the reaction is them doing this. Now, that is under one umbrella of breaking the law in this case. The next spot is them creating the action of impeding the movement of federal officers. Before
Correct.
they were just a nuisance during a warrant service. Now they are impeding the movement of federal officers. A whole new thing. Now the officers have no choice but to react to their action. And the best way I can explain it is after a horrible car accident I had, I was found 50% at fault for being in the middle of the intersection when the lady did over 40 miles an hour through a four-way stop and plowed into me. And
Wow.
it was her fault that she ran the stop, but it was my fault for turning left in an empty intersection when she ran the stop.
That's ridiculous.
So, but it's the way the law works. And so in this case, you can't say, well, ICE was there, they caused it. No, they were doing their job. This was a separate act.
And they were doing their job, my understanding is, serving
A
a
warrant.
deportation warrant. It's gone
Yes.
through the process.
Yes.
They are doing final actions because this person does have a warrant for deportation. There's a deportation order. And that is the vast majority.
Not this person. Where the reason they were at that house on that street.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
lady doesn't have that.
No, not this lady. But
Again,
they were
back to-
serving a warrant to somebody.
Yeah, they had finished that, or they had decided that it was too hot to deal with at that point, but they had decided they needed to leave.
Okay.
We don't know why they were leaving.
All right. Let's go and just stop at any time you want.
Mhm.
It's okay, we don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former.
Now, she knows that they're going to come talk to her later.
Yes.
That tells me she knows she's interfering with the duties
Yes.
of a law officer.
Well, and that car, from what I understood, and the people inside that car, or registered that car to, had, and I can't remember the name of it. I heard it this morning. It's a ICE, anti-ICE kind of group. And
Okay.
they have been ambulance chasing, tornado chasing, however you want to put it, ICE vehicles. And the one thing she was stating was with the license plates, from what I've heard, apparently the federal vehicles, they'll change their plates from time so that they can't see that it's the same group going each one.
Well, I've heard that
that's what
this
she's
vehicle.
talking about.
I've heard that this vehicle has been involved with other confrontations.
Yes, many other
yeah.
that week alone.
All right. So going back, there's something that the girlfriend, the one holding the camera, is the driver's girlfriend. I'm
Yes,
sorry,
wife.
wife. I do apologize.
Mm-hmm.
U.S. citizen, former.
Okay, U.S. citizen. That is meaningless.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, okay, all right, whatever.
You have rights as a citizen.
Former expletive Marine,
veteran.
or veteran. I'm sorry. You're not a former veteran. You're a veteran, or you're not a veteran.
Well,
you're never a former veteran.
I was just going to mention that in poor taste for this, maybe, but I guess you could be a former veteran if you were deceased, but I don't think
you're
so
still
even
a
then. You're
veteran.
still a
You're a
veteran for the rest of
veteran.
your life. Can you renounce your veteranness?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
But either way, I mean, so yeah.
Both my parents, my father was a vet and he was very proud of it. My mother was a vet. That's very
really?
unusual to have both parents be veterans.
Yeah, actually, I didn't know that.
And yeah, I mean, they are veterans, period.
Yeah.
End of story.
Come at us? You want to come at us?
Now, I would like to point out, as she's stating, you want to come at us. He's stepping away. He's actually letting them decide that they need to go and, decide what they need to do, what they need to go. Hey, you want to leave? You need to leave.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
absolutely. He is de-escalating the situation by
absolutely.
backing off.
And she's walking right towards him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, backing it up a little bit.
You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
She's really trying to antagonize him.
Oh, yeah,
And he's
yeah.
not biting
He's not
at
saying
all.
a word. None of that's been
done.
his words so far.
No, nothing.
Get
Get out of the car.
Now, right here, this is where it gets interesting. She has obviously decided, Blonde, the driver, has obviously decided it's getting real and I need to get out of this situation because he's told her to get out of the car. She has a choice. She can either get out of the car, be detained, have charges pressed against her, or she can make a run for it. Now, the hilarious part about making a run for it is obviously they already have this car. They have everything about this car. But she was going to leave the wife. Well, she did leave the wife, I guess, because she didn't unlock the doors.
Well,
and you can hear the other one. You can hear the wife yelling.
At that point, the officer has given you a legal order.
Yes.
He said, get out of the car.
Yes.
And at that point, you have one of two choices. You can say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and exit the vehicle and let the legal system play out. And you could say, no, I should not have been detained. And you could fight it that way.
Yep.
Or you can continue to disobey a legal order from a law enforcement officer.
Federal law enforcement officer.
And make it worse on you. And notice, I'm going to put it back a second, but when he says get out of the car, you can hear the engine rev.
Oh, no, they back it up. You can see she backs it up because he was standing in front of the car. So she started to back up. But what she didn't realize is she never turned the wheel. So when she went forward, she went to the same exact spot she was.
No. We're going to see the wheel. It's either this video or the other video. No, the wheel at this point is straight. She backs up, turns the wheel. I don't know if it's in this video or another one, but I've seen it. And then goes forward and goes straight into the officer,
yes, she does.
Physically hitting him.
Yeah, you can see him putting his hands on the hood to try and keep himself upright while she pushes him back.
Okay, let's go ahead. I'm going to put this back and listen for the engine revving.
Get out of the car. Out of the
She backed up right there. He didn't move. She backs up.
She backs up and she revs the engine. That's a loud rev. This is not an electric vehicle where you can't hear anything. I heard that engine rev, and that wasn't just a gentle, we're moving forward. She was gunning it.
Yeah.
So at that point, that's attempted murder of a law officer.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask you something. The wife, my understanding is, encouraged her to go. Now, you can't hear it on this. I don't think it's in this video, but apparently she encouraged the driver, who's her wife, to leave. Let me ask you something, Jeremy. You've been involved in the past, not now, with the... I'm going to try to change my words so we don't get in trouble. In the United States, the Second Amendment right to own a boom boom stick.
Yeah.
And you were involved in the reusable component that goes into the boom boom stick that you need to every time you use it.
Parts of it are reusable. Only one part of it officially.
Okay.
But yes, I was involved in I was involved in the pew pew side of the boom boom stick.
Yes, you were the actual pew pew part.
Yes,
that goes into the boom boom stick.
Yes,
you were involved with that.
Yes.
So here's my question to you,
specifically with FBI protocol.
You and I are sitting around, hypothetical, and you say, Seth, I want you to take the boom boom stick, which we know has the pew pew in it, and I want you to point it in the air, and I want you to engage the transmission of the boom boom stick, and the pew pew goes into the air. Now, you've encouraged me to do this, right?
Yes, I am at that point. It's not an accessory.
Well, hold on a second. Now, that pew pew comes down and hits somebody, unaliving them.
Yes.
Now, I am guilty of a crime because I let the pew pew go out.
Yep.
I hit the engaged part of the boom boom stick.
Yep.
You're also legally liable. You're an accessory.
I'm not an accessory. I can't remember what it is. I remember a documentary a long time ago about it, and it's the people that encourage you to do something that doesn't make you an accessory. It's something. I can't remember the legal term of it, but I mean, it's bad. Don't get me wrong. It's very bad.
But are you legally liable if you've encouraged me to do something
at some
reckless?
level, but it is not labeled as accessory. And I wish I could remember the term, but yeah, it's the. I'm going to use a really crass side of it, but there was a documentary a long time ago about a crowd and an unfortunate lady and the crowd was encouraging certain acts, and all of them ended up being prosecuted for that crime because they were encouraging it along. And
So
I can't
she-
remember the name of the term that it was, but it's not accessory. But yes, you're absolutely right. She is
liable on
for
some
something.
level.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think she should be charged. And by the way, if you cause the unaliving of somebody during the commission of a crime, which I believe the wife who was recording this all by encouraging the driving wife, I think that she is also liable because the wife did expire, did unalive, and I think the wife should be held criminal at some level. It's not first degree. It might not even be second degree, but I think at least on a third degree level, manslaughter, I don't know what would go under, but I believe that the wife is liable legally, criminally, for the driver's unaliving.
Well, then you'd have to go back and do a bit more work there. But the interesting thing is these aren't people that just showed up. I mean, they're not. This has been their job. This is the equivalent of a tornado chaser. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were getting involved in. They knew all this. And to be honest, I am positive, given the climate up until that moment in Minnesota, if they'd have just like, fine, we're moving, you know what I mean? Just like right there at that tail end, right before he said, get out of the car. If she'd have said, okay, I'm going to go now. And they left, they'd have been their nuisance. They'd have done their point. They'd have gotten their footage. They'd have done everything for their hat, and everything would have moved on. And I'll bet you $10 those ICE officers would have written the car license plate down. They would have taken care of everything, but they wouldn't have pressed any charges or done anything further.
Probably not. I agree with you. I think you are correct.
They're too busy. It's one of those deals where it's like, it's not worth my time. I'm going to note this in case it gets worse. And obviously they had been noting this specific car with these specific people in it for multiple times now.
Let's check out the last little bit here.
That was a little unprofessional, in my opinion. But I don't know that it was him that said it.
Yeah, we don't know who said it, but let's assume hypothetically he said it. At a certain point, if you are hit by a 4,000-pound vehicle, I think you're allowed a little bit of professional leeway.
Oh, yeah. No. I don't get me wrong.
On your language.
I'm not going to fault him for it, but...
And clearly he was hit. So that is attempted murder.
He was hit. I don't know that he actually hit the ground, because you're watching another video. He didn't land on the ground, but you also have to come away with the statement that this guy, it isn't his first rodeo.
No.
I mean, he's been working on the front lines of this problem for a while, and actually came back after a medical thing where another vehicle had run him over.
Well,
and he ended up with like 37 stitches and hip problems.
Well, the left and the liberal media had tried saying, oh, well, this is why we shouldn't be having ICE go in. There are all these new guys and they don't know what to do and they can't control themselves. And this is horrible. And this cop is just inexperienced. Apparently he'd been on the force for years.
Oh, yeah,
and was highly experienced.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, you know what? The people that are trying to protect the people doing SA, the people who are interested in people who are under the age of 18, and SA there, the people who are putting out medicinal pills that are not, and powders that are not medicinal, that's who's getting deported.
That's who are being arrested and put
and
through
I'm
due
sorry,
process.
and these people have the final warrant. And I'm sorry, even if you are a Maryland man, and you have deportation orders, you have deportation orders.
Yep.
And the irony is, when Obama was doing this, and Obama still is at the level of having done over 3 million deportations, and Trump is at, I think, 1.2, 1.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
So Trump's done just over a third, maybe half of what Obama did. The left wasn't doing anything. And the hypocrisy
Oh, yeah.
is insane.
Well, the thing that ticks me off about all of this right now is Minnesota sitting there saying about how they need to be able to prosecute it. And it's like, no, that's not the way this works. It's a federal crime using federal officers. You didn't even have an officer on scene.
It was a federal operation.
Yeah, well, they didn't even have an officer on scene. They're saying, well, they have people that are better suited for investigating this. I'm sorry. You have confirmed that you go to the FBI to get help for these kind of cases. So how are your officers in Minnesota, your investigators in Minnesota, better if they're utilizing the FBI for these cases?
Well, the United States in the last election dodged a bullet.
Oh, yeah.
With Tim Walz as the VP, because this guy if he's not corrupt, he just ignored it. And so he wants this to happen. And the other thing that happens...
Well, that's the other thing. You're not going to get Minnesota out of the Google searches right now. It's going to trend. So now you've just pulled all the trending Minnesota to this shooting and to all this stuff. Now, I'm not saying they did it on purpose by any means. I'm not that kind of conspiracy theorist. But I think it was Obama that said something about never waste a catastrophe.
Never let a crisis go to waste.
That's what it is. Never let a crisis go to waste. Here you go. Perfect example. Now, whenever you search Minneapolis or Minnesota or any of this, you certainly are not finding the Leering Center.
You get the gold star for the episode. I wasn't expecting that. I have 2 comments left from this.
Yeah.
Clearly, you've got these extreme leftists that are causing these problems. And this woman's sad passing is what Nikolai Lenin, who led Russia's revolution, he would call a useful idiot. There is no purpose in this lady's passing. And the other thing I wanted to really say is the difference between the right and the left when it comes to these moments of people being unalived. I have yet to hear a single conservative. I have yet to hear a single person on the right, even if they're center right, even if they're moderate, express joy over this lady's passing. I think this lady's unaliving is tragic. I think it's sad. She had a wife. She has family that loves her.
Kids.
And apparently I heard she just
I think 3.
a couple hours ago, she has kids. I am sorry. Her family is going to lose this person. I think this person did something. I think the driver set herself up to, it's a clean shooting. I think this is totally justified. No doubt in my mind. Not even like, well, maybe, no, totally justified, because I would have done exactly what that officer would have done, having seen that video. But compare that to the left with Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
That's the difference. And that's why so many people are just disgusted with the Democrats. This was a justified situation on the part of the officer. And what's really interesting is the more this goes on, the more support President Trump is getting.
Yeah.
Even CNN admits it.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. We're talking about that. Yes, CNN is even kind of backing down. And it was interesting yesterday evening. I had listened on another podcast. I don't remember. It was just kind of a soundbite thing on another podcast. And the gentleman had said, believe me, Waltz is going to walk back everything he said and told everybody to be peaceful. He said, because I can guarantee Trump or somebody representing Trump has called and said, if they riot in your town, you're not getting a dime from us. So you're going to rebuild your own town. And I thought that was an interesting statement. And then sure enough, this morning when I got up, it was like, Waltz is like, let's all be peaceful. Let's take care of each other. Let's, don't even throw a snowball kind of attitude. And I was like, there you go. And with that, we'll see you at the next stop.